All right, so hi everyone. My name is Brittany and I am here from Skills Ontario. I'll talk more about Skills Ontario at the end, but just a little bit about myself. I'm Métis, I'm in Sudbury. I grew up in a small town around Sudbury, which is about 3 hours north of Toronto. Growing up, I would have never thought I would have ended up in a trade. In high school, everyone was telling me I had good grades, so I should go to university, which I did. Flash forward some years and I ended up as a welder. So if this necessarily isn't your thing, that's fine. Lots of information here. And honestly, you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, we'll see as we go. So to start off, I'm here to talk about skilled trades and technologies. And I think this is really great because this is going to set you up for a lot of the other panels and stuff coming up throughout the next couple days. But really basically at the start, what is a skilled trade? I like to say that the skilled trades are hands-on, technical, practical, and creative. So hands-on means, move that down. So hands-on means that if you're not at work, the job doesn't get done. So for me as a welder, if I didn't show up that day, what I was working on didn't get built. My dad's a carpenter, same, if he didn't show up that day, the house wasn't getting built. Even if you decide to go into a career that's really technology heavy, you're not able to not be at work. Like it's not complete 100% automation where you won't have to be there, right? So these jobs are hands-on. You need to be there to get these jobs done. Technical means you're going to use math and sciences, computer skills in these jobs. What career you go into will obviously have certain levels, right? And different technical ability, all of that. But either you're picking that career and you already love that stuff anyways, or you don't mind doing it, you know, that'll be fine. But if you are a little bit worried about maybe like the math skills or computer skills, don't be. I'm not the strongest in math. If you want like a lightning fast answer for a math equation, you're better to ask my sister. I can do math, but I just need a little bit of time to kind of sit down and think about it. So if you're that kind of person, you'll be fine in the trades too, because you're using it every day. And every company that you work in wants to see you succeed or wants you to produce and make things just as, you know, fast, but well. So if you need to Google something or you need help, they will help you. So don't worry about technical skills. Know that they're there. You'll develop them. Don't panic. Next is practical. So this is kind of the fun thing with the trades, but the skills you learn in your job, you will also use in your regular life. So well, my dad's a carpenter. He goes to work, he does home renovations, and he could come home and work on his own house. As a welder, I wasn't necessarily welding at home because I live in an apartment building, but using tools and knowing how to use tools, I do use that in my everyday life. Now, before becoming a welder, like I didn't even put pictures up in my apartment because I didn't really know how to use a drill. If I was stuck on the side of the road and I had a flat tire, like I was calling my dad. After being in a trade and working in a trade, like I said, using tools, I definitely feel more confident and everything kind of feels like a YouTube video away. I feel like more confident that I can try things too. So that's kind of the practical part of these jobs. You'll use them in your regular life too. And lastly, they're creative jobs. So problem solving is a creative thing. So any kind of problem you might have to solve in your job could be creative. But there are careers here that will use art as a primary tool. Things like fashion design, graphic design will use art as, you know, the knowledge. So if you like art, there are opportunities for you as well in the trades. So in Ontario, there are over 140 skilled trades. You have practically the choice to do anything. I'm not going to go over every 140 job because that would be the most boring presentation you've ever seen. So what I will do instead is talk about the sectors. And this is great because, like I said, as we go through the next couple of days, you'll get to see panels of people that work in these sectors. I think today you already had service, and I believe I think your last day you have construction, and then there's some stuff in between. So they might fall into this. So the first sector in Ontario, the one that's hiring the most, I don't know, there, now that bar is gone at the top. So the largest sector in Ontario is the construction sector. And this is what most people think of when they think skilled trades, is building things. We've had highlighted 3 jobs here, but know that there's a lot more. So the one in the middle is a carpenter. I explained that one, someone that can either build houses like by framing them or do home renovations. But you can also work in the civil setting, which would be like building infrastructure for cities. And an example that a carpenter could do in that kind of situation would be forming. So this is when they take lumber and they build a form to pour the concrete into, and then it stays like that. So think about like bridges. A lot of forming goes into building a bridge because you're pouring concrete to build it. So anyways, an example there, a little bit of a different kind of path, maybe if you like the idea of building, but not necessarily maybe in like homes. This next job is a brick and stone mason. So this is someone who will, again, build things with either these cement blocks that you see here, or it could be bricks, it could be natural stone, like you can see maybe just behind on that wall. A thing that I think is really cool about brick and stone masons is that they get to work with history. A lot of brick and stone masons do work in like repairs and reconstructions. Think about a lot of our older buildings here in Ontario, they're made out of stone. And as they get older, they need to be fixed. So this is kind of a cool job if you're someone that does like history. And then this career here, electrician, they install the power in your home, make sure that everything's wired correctly, it's working how it should. But what's cool is that, again, this is another job where you can work in a different kind of sector and work as an electrician, but maybe in a different area. And that would be the industrial sector. So industrial electricians, again, still work with power, but they do it in a different setting, maybe more power, different safety precautions, all of that. But the industrial setting is the, or sector is the sector that I worked in as a welder. I didn't make these slides, but ironically, there are 2 examples of welding here. Industrial sector is like the behind the scenes, and kind of why I liked working in it is I got to see how things were made. And I think that's a show, right? Like how it's made. If you love that show, you'll love the industrial sector too. But the examples here, this middle one, this is, I'll say, a regular welder. It's a process, it's a machine that's either flux or MIG, but you're welding steel. So you get a blueprint, tells you what to build, and you're welding it together. This other type of welder here, this is a TIG welder. So again, different kind of setting, but a similar job. They might weld more on like aluminum. So maybe more boats or trailers or aircraft as well. So an example there. And then this last career, this is a millwright. It's someone that is a mechanic for factory equipment. They don't necessarily specialize in one type of thing. They specialize in a lot of different things. They're the jack of all trades. You might hear that. People call themselves the jack of all trades. They actually mean probably millwrights. But yeah, they're mechanics for factory equipment, work on all different types of systems from hydraulics, pulleys, gears, anything. Motive power, this is the next largest sector, so the 3rd largest sector now. This is your mechanics and technicians. You can, of course, have your automotive mechanic that'll work on your cars and trucks and what people think of right away when you say mechanic. But there's also heavy equipment mechanics that will work on like construction equipment, or you could have truck and coach technicians that work on like transports or buses. You can have sports mechanics that work on your ATVs and snow machines, motorcycles, small equipment. So you can work on like chainsaws and lawnmowers, that kind of stuff. So lots of opportunity here. And if you're someone that likes to tinker, maybe take things apart and put them back together again, maybe this is your calling, this sector, right? Oh, and If you like maybe classic cars, there is an auto body mechanic that will either work on restoring classic cars, or like if you've been in an accident, they can repair your car from that too. So lots of opportunities in this sector. And the last sector is the service sector. So you can provide a service to people and work with the public, and it still be considered a skilled trade. So here are the ones that we've highlighted. In the middle here, you have your hairstylists, estheticians as well is considered a service industry skilled trade. But it's fun to think that like to become a hairstylist is just as serious as becoming an electrician. Both of these careers will go through an apprenticeship, and I'll talk about more about what an apprenticeship is later, but both of these careers have to do it. It's just the amount of time that it takes is shorter for a hairstylist than it is an electrician, but fun fact, they both have to. If you want to be a chef or a baker, you absolutely can. Again, it's an example of a career in the skilled trade. The difference between, sometimes I get asked like, what's the difference between a chef and like a cook? And that's just the post-secondary pathway you decided to take. To be a chef, normally you have to do an apprenticeship or college. If you are a cook, normally you've gone right into workplace for training. But ultimately, they might do the same things depending on what kind of restaurant you're in, or if you own your own restaurant. So again, opportunities there to think about. And then if you want to work in public services, you can do that as well. Here we have an arborist. This is someone that can cut trees down, but they can kind of act like the Lorax and save trees. So sometimes it's not about just cutting it down, it's about diagnosing maybe why the tree isn't healthy and fixing it. So something to consider there if that is interesting to you. But other public services could be like power line technicians and gas technicians, where they're working, not necessarily in your house or in construction, but they are still bringing like public services to you. So those are the examples of the skilled trade sectors. So when people say they work in the skilled trades, they mean either construction, industrial, motive power, or service. I'm also here to talk about the technologies. I will admit I'm not strong in technologies, but I know that they are awesome and cool careers. If you like tech and that's your calling, I'm pretty sure you already know it. But if you like fast paced, always changing, you love the new tech and you want to see how you can incorporate that and make people's lives better, lots of choices here. Now at the start, when I mentioned 140 jobs, I meant in just the skilled trades. So just those first 4 sectors. There are way more jobs in technologies. And like I said, they're changing and there's new ones being made all the time. The ones that we're highlighting here, the middle one is a robotics technician or a mechatronics technician. They will design robots, program robots, install robots, program them, make sure that they're running correctly. If you like AI learning, there's a lot of that going on in mechatronics right now. So maybe that is your calling. If you love art and tech and you want to combine them together, there's tons of different ways to do that. Here we have that graphic design artist, which will use art and like color theory to make logos or websites or graphics. 2D or 3D animators will make characters for video games or TV shows, and again using art to do it. And then what's really cool, like every career we've seen up until now, and I keep mentioning all these opportunities. Another example is like a photographer, right? Career in tech, you can own your own business, but what I think is really cool too is you could possibly combine a couple different passions here. You can take photos of sport teams, like a lot of sport teams have their own professional photographers. So you can combine like your love of sports and tech maybe if you want. So anyways, those are the like quick overview of what the skilled trades are, what the sectors are, what the technologies are. Like I said, there's a lot more jobs than the like 12 that we've seen. So now what, right? If you are finishing high school, you'll have to think about your next steps. And after high school, you have 4 options. You can go from workplace, apprenticeship, college, university. The choice here is really yours. If you're going into a skilled trade or tech, you're probably going to do an apprenticeship or college. So I will talk more about those two opportunities in a second. But what I'm going to use this general slide to say is that there is not one post-secondary pathway that's better than the other. It really does just depend on what you want to do. So if I ask you, like, what do you want to be when you're older? And you say, I don't know, but I want to go to university or college, you might be looking at it a little bit backwards. And then just to kind of touch quickly, like I said, I in high school was pushed or guided strongly into going to university, and I liked it. Kind of general idea with university though is you're going to get theory and then you have to figure out how you're going to apply it. So you go and do your undergrad, and if you want to keep doing research, maybe you'll do like your master's and PhD. If you want to go to a professional school like medical school or law school or teachers college, once you're done your undergrad, then you apply there, and then they take all of that knowledge and teach you how to apply it to a career. College, apprenticeship, workplace are totally different. For these pathways, you've chosen your job. Hey, I want to do this. And then they literally just take you and show you how to do it. How they show you, right, will be different. And that's what I'll talk about today. But again, there's not a path that's better than the other. It's just what you want to do. As for workplace, everyone goes through workplace training. As a welder, I didn't need to know how to operate a forklift. I didn't need to know how to use an overhead crane. But once I went into my workplace, they taught me to do that. And like you can be a forklift operator in a warehouse like you see in this picture, and you get that by going right into workplace. You don't necessarily have to go and do training outside of that. Or like locksmiths, not really a career, just anybody could be, right? Knowing how to open up doors and any kind of door is a pretty special talent. So you would think it's a pretty serious career, and I think it is. And that is a career that you would learn through workplace. So again, not one path that is better than the other. It's just, hey, I want to be this. This is where I go to do it. Like I said, you'll have the choice in the trades, maybe between college and apprenticeship. Find your best fit. We'll talk about the differences now. So you might be familiar with college. They all promote 50-50 hands-on learning classroom. So 50% of the time you'll be in a class, you'll learn your theory and your, book everything in your classes. So for me as a welder, I did it through college. In the mornings I'd go and I would have my math classes and like my physics classes, and they named them different things to sneak in that it was what they were. But yeah, like rigging 101 was physics. Math, they just called math. So you go and you learn that theory, and then you get to take it and go into a lab or a shop and actually use the equipment and the tools that you would use at that job, which is cool. So I would go in and learn about, how to actually weld, but while I'm doing that, in the back of my head, I know what's actually happening. So I appreciated that 50-50 learning style. You have over 625 trades that you could choose from in Ontario and over 500 technology programs in Ontario. So again, you have tons of choices. Something that you might want to ask colleges when you tour them, or you're trying to pick maybe which ones to apply to, you could ask them about their Indigenous spaces. A lot of them will have student centers or Indigenous student centers where you can go and get cultural or academic support. So sometimes they'll have like quiet rooms where you can go and smudge, or you could meet with an elder and they could guide you and talk to you if you wanted. And then workplace supports. A lot of colleges actually will help you find work after your program, either through a co-op or actually a workplace support or placement. That's college in a nutshell. Apprenticeship. So this might not be familiar for all of you. It wasn't for me, honestly, until I did go into a trade. But it is a registered like academic pathway. So you do leave an apprenticeship with a certificate that says you're licensed to work in that career. So it is just like going to college or university. It is different though. So apprenticeship learning environment, 90% of the time you will be at work and 10% of the time you'll be in class. I'll talk more about that in a second. The big draw to an apprenticeship is you earn while you learn. If you're going to college, you may have to pay to go to school, but through an apprenticeship, even though you're learning, you are still an employee making things. So you get paid to be there, you earn your salary. And the apprenticeship pathway is only available for the skilled trades. There are 23 compulsory trades. That means you'll have to do an apprenticeship kind of either way. Even if you go to college for these ones, you'll end up in an apprenticeship. And there's over 100 voluntary trades. So these are careers that you could learn through college or apprenticeship, and this is where you'll just pick your best fit. So kind of where you're learning in a skilled or in an apprenticeship as an apprentice, well, the learner is called an apprentice. You're hired by an employer who may be a journey person, or they may place you with a team of journey people. A journey person is the title for like someone who's already registered and completed their training in that trade. And 90% of the time you're going to be with that person or that team of people learning how to do your job. So when you get hired, you receive kind of like a training booklet from the ministry that tells you what you need to know by when in your apprenticeship. It's not just, you know, run free. There is a little bit of structure to it. And so with that journey person or journey people, they go through the book with you. Okay, so year one, if you're, let's say, a millwright, you should know how to change a belt and a bearing. They teach you how to do that. Once they feel that you can do that, you would get signed off on it, that kind of thing, and move on to the next step. Now, there is still class, even though most of your learning here is on the job, you will still end up in class. That's because they're training you to write your final exam. So, you know, you're going to have to write an exam with math in it, possibly, that kind of thing. So this is where the school comes in and they help you learn that. 10% of the time, a lot less than even college. So don't worry about this. If you're not like a class person, you don't like learning in school, 10% will fly by. So kind of, again, to dive in deeper and like the more nitty gritty of an apprenticeship, to start, you find an employer, and this is kind of maybe the catch to an apprenticeship. Making money and learning sounds amazing, but for some people, it's hard to find an apprenticeship. When you go to college, they have semesters, right? So they'll have so many people starting at one time, and then you just kind of go for a couple months, and then you go to the next step, right? Apprenticeships happen all year round. So you're looking on job banks and job boards for employers that are looking for an apprentice in the field that you want to go into. You apply like you would apply to any other job. You state that you're looking for an apprenticeship, but you apply to those jobs. You get called for interviews. Once you go to your interview, if you're hired from there, you would register with the ministry. So you and your employer both register. Then you get your booklet. You'll do 90% of your training on the job. You'll do your 10% in school. And this is leapfroggy. So you'll do so many hours on the job, then go do so many hours in class, then go do so many hours on the job and go back to class, depending on how long it takes you. Just like any other pathway, I'm sorry to break it to you, there will be final exams. Even when I learned how to drive the forklift and the overhead crane, there was a final exam. So these classes, like I said, are really there to train you for this final exam. And this final exam will give you a certificate of qualification, and that's your ticket. That's the paper that says that you're licensed. Some careers you will have to, and some careers are optional, but there's something called the Red Seal exam. So once you have your ticket, you can work. But in Ontario, there's the Canadian Red Seal exam. If you choose to write that extra exam, it means that your license is good anywhere in Canada, not just in Ontario. And sometimes that license lets you travel out of country as well. So things to think about, and those opportunities I keep talking about, that might be writing that next exam might be something that offers you more opportunities. That's apprenticeship in a nutshell. That was college in a nutshell. Oh, I did talk about salaries. So when you start your apprenticeship, you're not going to be making top dollar. You might be making more than minimum wage, or you might be making minimum wage. That depends on what career you go into or where you are even in the province or what company you work for. But as you get more experience, your salary will increase, right? If you're in a good apprenticeship, your salary will increase. These dollar amounts are actual dollar amounts for unionized apprentice carpenters in the Toronto area. But I'm in Sudbury, and I can say for sure down where you are as well, these are really comparable to most trades. So you start off, like I said, near minimum wage, it goes up. Once you are licensed, the sky is the limit. Who you work for, where you work, all of that could change this final salary. So don't look at this and go, oh, I'll say only $37 an hour, but that's still a good salary. We'll talk more at the end, but yeah, more opportunities here means this could change. Yeah, that was kind of the background. Now this is the part where I actually try and convince you that these are really great jobs. So why consider a trade or a career in the skilled trades or tech? Well, they are essential and demand, and they are rewarding. So essential, we've all heard lots about it these last couple of years, but if you won't see a skilled trade worker every day. It's highly unlikely every day you'll meet someone in that 140 range. But just know that they are touching and affecting your life every day. This is a kitchen. It's not my kitchen. I live in an apartment. It's not this nice. But this small piece of your house, there's already 12 trades that can work there. Then think of your whole house. Think of your neighborhood. Think about your community. Think about where you go to school. If you have a part-time job, all of that, right? Way more jobs. They're not going anywhere, and we need every single one of them. This is also something that you might be thinking about when you think about your future career, and that's, is this job in demand? Well, the skilled trades absolutely are. These are not dying careers. In the year 2025, about 40% of all occupations will be in the skilled trades. So if you're logging into like the job bank to see what's out there and what's available, it's about 40% of them will be in the skilled trades. What does that mean? Well, if you choose to work in a skilled trade, it's very easy to find work, to keep your work, change work if you want. Salaries are great because of that, and I'll talk about that in like literally 1 second. But what this looked like for me, so I went to university right out of high school. I spent months looking for a job in my field, and I did luck out. I did find one, and I worked in that for like 6 years. But then I worked in not-for-profits. I specialized in not-for-profits and international aid. Anyways, worked in not-for-profits for 6 years, but then I got laid off at a time when a lot of people in not-for-profits were getting laid off. And I spent all my EI, so all my unemployment insurance, or employment insurance, they call it, looking for work in not-for-profits, and I couldn't find anything. I decided to go back to school in a career that I would always have a job in. So I went to an employment center, and I kind of did like a career studies class all over again. And at the end, they would help pay for my schooling for that career. So I became a welder. 3 days after I graduated from my college program as a welder, I had landed pretty much my dream job. Very clean, safe environment. They had benefits and pension. They had really cool like employee programs, like where they would do things like around Christmas, they would do a draw for like Raptors tickets to go to Toronto. They would pay for like a hotel and all of that for you and like your little family to go and experience like a Raptors game, which I'm in Northern Ontario. Like that was a pretty big deal. I'm not too big into sports, but I still would have really enjoyed that opportunity. But because I picked an in-demand career, a skilled trade, pretty easy to find work, And it was, like I said, kind of a dream job. Kind of tying into that essential as well. I've only come to Skills Ontario. I've only been with Skills since February. So before then, throughout the even last couple of years of a pandemic, I changed my job as a welder 3 times, and each time for a better job, compared to some of my friends that I had gone to university with who were having to work from home and change how they were used to working. So, or getting laid off because there was no work, but I didn't have that issue in a skilled trade at all. That might be the thing that convinces you to go into a skilled trade, but we didn't talk about money. If you look at all of the careers in Ontario and you kind of find an average salary, most careers in Ontario, so skilled trades, tech, healthcare, public service, all of that, find an average salary per year. It's about $50,000. In the skilled trades, though, the average is a lot higher. It's about 77. That means that there's money in the trades, and it's really easy to make your job kind of work for you and afford the things that you want, right? Tech careers sometimes can get a little higher. There are skilled trades that go a lot higher than this as well. There are some that are near this too, or maybe even a little lower. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a range like everything, but it's very easy to make money in the trades. And for me, those opportunities of changing jobs and keeping your work and all of that kind of bumped this up too. It made it very attractive to me. And then rewarding aspects, right? Why you love your job will literally be different for everybody. I could line up 100 welders and we will all give you different reasons why we love our jobs. I could do that with the next trade or tech too. But the things you'll kind of hear pretty commonly why people choose these jobs, well, their interests. It could be something that you already enjoy. Maybe it's that you love math or that you love a certain type of science. It could be based on your talents, right? I didn't know this until I became a welder, but I'm actually really good at like fine hand details, like threading needles. I don't have shaky hands or anything like that. And I didn't really realize that until I became a welder, that it's kind of a talent I have. Beliefs, how you want your job to work for you, what you believe your balance of home and family and work life should be, right? Skilled trades can do that for you. Your skills kind of falls into talents there. It could be how you learn too. Maybe you like being challenged. Maybe you really want to learn through an apprenticeship. You know, opportunities. This whole theme of the day, right, is opportunity. And it could be just an amazing experience. So again, story time. When I worked in not-for-profits the first time, I had a really amazing experience where the Canadian Navy flew me out to Halifax and for like a week gave me a tour of skilled trades and tech careers in the Navy. So I didn't know this. I didn't know my life was going to change and I was going to become a welder. But one day during the tour, they brought us to a dry dock where they were repairing a submarine. That was like to see a submarine in real life on a dry dock was amazing. But it's that memory now is still kind of foggy. What I remember the most about that tour and that day in specific was being in awe at seeing a submarine, knowing that I was going to go in it. That was cool. But because it was getting repaired on dry dock, there were welders on scaffolding incredibly high, working on a piece of equipment that as a Canadian, I was like lucky to see. And I found out that that was a civilian job. So that wasn't those people on the scaffolding welding weren't part of the Navy. They were civilians in Halifax that were welders. Flash forward, right, when I lost my job and I was doing that career studies, I had in my head a bunch of other skilled trade jobs that I thought I was interested in. Like I said, my dad was a carpenter. That would have been a fine job. It seemed interesting. I know that millwrights, I'm in Sudbury, it's a mining town. I know there's a lot of work for millwrights, right? Those factory mechanics. So I had considered that. But in that career studies that I did, there was a question that ultimately influenced me. And it was, what is one experience you will never forget? And for me, it was seeing those people on the scaffolding welding on the submarine. And I thought, you know what? I want that experience. I want to be able to say, I've done that kind of work, or I've had that awesome opportunity, and be proud of my career in that way. So I became a welder. Did I weld on a submarine? No, I welded a lot of mining equipment, which is honestly just as big. And I think it was just as cool. But be aware of your experiences, because you really don't know what could end up being a good job for you. Anyways, once you pick your career, if you have picked a skilled trade, there is a lot of support out there for us. There's a lot of bursaries and grants. There's Indigenous institutes where you can go and learn your skilled trade from people in our culture, which I think is really cool. There's a lot of them down in Southern Ontario. There's post-secondary student support programs. So if you are in college or in an apprenticeship, the government has lots of funding for you. There's like bursaries, all of that, like I said. And colleges as well will have scholarships and bursaries. So don't be afraid about trying to pay for school. When I went back to become a welder, like I didn't pay anything. So don't worry about it. There's lots of money for us out there if you do decide to go into these careers. Choosing your path. So you're a high school student, possibly. Maybe you are thinking about how can I pick a career now, right? Like what can I learn now or what can I do now to start learning and trying things and picking my career? Well, starting in grade 9, there are tech classes. If your school offers a tech class and a career that you want to take, it only makes sense to take the tech class. But even if you don't know what you want to do as a career, it's a great way to try stuff out. 2 stories here, I guess you could say. When I was in grade 9, I thought I wanted to be a chef or a baker. So I took my cooking class, and I learned in that cooking class really quick that cooking was a passion, but I didn't want to run a business. Like budgeting, meal planning, making sure the menu met, that you made money off your menu, like that was not at all my interest. So it eliminated that career for me. I still took the tech classes, but I was taking them as a passion, which I appreciated. I knew that, I didn't want to kind of keep looking at being a chef. But these are those life skill classes. If you want to learn how to do anything in life, take a tech class. You can still become a doctor or a lawyer, but you took your automotive tech class, and you can now do either your own basic car maintenance, or you could bring it somewhere, and when they tell you what's wrong with it, you understand, right? You'll learn to use tools here. If you're unfamiliar with computers, you can take a computer class and get more familiar with it. So lots of opportunities. Don't be afraid to try a tech class. Next, in 10th grade, or usually at the end of 10th grade, you can possibly do a specialist high skills major. This is a certificate that you would get at the end of your high school if you take all the required classes and you enroll in, the program. But this list here is all the SHSMs, they call them, or specialist high skills majors in Ontario. Certain schools offer, again, certain ones, but they do, through this program, take your classes they tell you to take. You have to maintain certain averages, but then in kind of return, you might get like hands-on experiences that maybe others, like I'll say regular students, might not get. I know in like up here, it's the hospitality and tourism. Some of the schools in my area, through this, you can kind of do like a safe food handling certificate, which if you want to go work in like a restaurant or you want to be a chef, it'll help you along that path. So they might offer kind of extra opportunities outside of the classroom where you can get things to help you towards your career. So that's a specialist high skills major. Not all schools offer them, but if you're interested, definitely ask your guidance counselors. In 11th and 12th grade, this is kind of when you have all these other programs, and that's just because you're probably picking your career soon. In 11th and 12th grade, there's something called a dual credit. This is when you take a college class and it counts as a high school class and a college class. So it could be in person, it could be virtual. but all the other students in the class with you may be college students. So they might be students that are older than you that you're with. The homework and the lectures that you're getting are the exact same as those college students. You're being graded as a college student as well. So this is a really cool program if you want to try college and see maybe if it's something for you, or if you already know your career and you know that that's what you want to do. This could be a good way to kind of get into college and knock out some classes before you actually do go to college and have to spend kind of money on them. The next opportunity, and probably the one that most people are familiar with, are co-op and OYAP. So again, in 11th or 12th grade, co-op is a placement program. You'll go see a co-op teacher, say, hey, I think I want to be a whatever career. It could be a skilled trade or tech or a profession. It could be like I said, any career. But you go to placement, they'll help you find a placement in what you want to do. Instead of going to class for maybe half the day or like a day out of the week, you'll go to work. You don't get paid to be there because it counts as a class, but you'll go to work and you get to test drive that career. So you're working in the environment. Is it where you want to be? Is it a job that you're interested in? Do you like what this is, right? If you do pick something you love and it validates that that's the choice for you and that's the career you want to do, awesome. But what I really like about co-op is you can take it and change your mind. So I'll tell this story. I work with someone named Ashley. She thought she wanted to be a nurse. In grade 12, there was a section in her timetable that didn't fit with any other classes. Either she'd already taken them or they just weren't of interest to her. So they offered her a co-op with the Canadian Blood Services in their blood donation clinic. She said, yes, absolutely. This will be easy. No problem. I'll go do a co-op. Well, she turns out, she's like, Brittany, first day, they're giving me the tour. It was beautiful. It was fine. I was excited. And she's like, until I walked into the room where people were actually donating the blood. And she's like, all I did was casually look right, see a gentleman laying there donating, and just passed out. Turns out Ashley can't handle large amounts of blood, and she did not know that until she took a co-op. So trying your career, test driving your career while you're still in high school, you didn't spend any money to try and learn this career. And all it takes is a little bit of time out of your day. So instead of being in a classroom, you might be in work. So that's co-op. Take a co-op, try out your job, no harm there. The other side is OYAP. It's pretty much like a co-op, but it's called the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. This is when you're still in placement, so you're still just trying out the career, but the hours that you're putting in actually do count as registered apprenticeship hours. So you could technically be in 11th grade, registered as a first-year apprentice, starting an apprenticeship in high school by just like going to a placement and trying out the job. What you're learning in the job is what you'd be learning as an apprentice. So why not? Why not try OYAP if that's what you want to do? If an apprenticeship is calling to you, look at an OYAP program. So that's high school. I said at the start, I was at Skills Ontario. This is the part where I talk about what that is now. So Skills Ontario is a not-for-profit. We operate throughout all of Ontario. We have tons of programs that we do it through. So we have First Nation, Métis, and Inuit initiatives. I'm the manager for that. So we do workshops where you can try some hands-on stuff, or come when we're not in a pandemic, we go to the colleges and you can come and see what the college is like. We offer competitions. I love these. You can come down in the spring to Toronto, or maybe up for you guys. Come to Toronto, compete in a skilled trade. In high school, they actually have soft skills as well, like interview skills or public speaking, that kind of thing. You could come compete, win medals, scholarships, bursaries. We at the competition as well, we have our First Nation, Métis, and Inuit conference where you could come and meet skilled trade workers from our community, and they talk about kind of their path and how they got into the trades. And then we have fun stuff. So cardboard boat races and summer camps, you might see those. We have women's initiatives too that you might see. And we do these through the schools too. So it doesn't just have to be through this program. We also have a podcast. I'm not in it, but if you want to meet some of the other people I work with, Bill, he's the only other person at Skills Ontario in the FNMI department. He's fun. This is Dan and Maddie, and they talk all types of things about trades. Okay, I'm going to end this presentation. I will jump quickly maybe into the chat quick to see if there's questions that I missed. And then we will get
questions quite yet.
Okay,
but perfect. If anybody has any questions right now, it's a great time to ask. You can verbally ask or you can type it in the chat.
While people are typing, if you want to get your kits, the Meccano kits, I know that there are 2 floating around. Let me see if I can close this. Or no, I'll leave that up because actually you might have questions as we go. Okay, so this is fun. This is the fun part. I am excited for this. Open up your kits. There's 2. There is one that's the, what is it? 15-in-1 truck kit, super truck kit. And then there's another one in a red kind of case. And I don't know what they called it. I think it was like an inventor kit, but it's in the red case. Yeah, that one. I took my sleeve off of it. But on the cover, there's like the spring-loaded thing. Okay. So the thing with these kits, they're kind of like advanced Lego. Oh, questions there. Okay, several questions. Okay, we'll come back to the kits in a second. Several questions around age requirements, minimum age to get started. Yeah, so training in the skilled trades can happen, some trades as low as 16. That's why the OYAP program exists, where you can start an apprenticeship at 16 in 11th or 12th grade. But to get your first job, that would be 13, depending on the job. And then once you're registered and as an adult, like once you're an adult, you can do kind of any career. But yeah, 16 is the lowest you can go to actually start an apprenticeship. But I think the first age that you can get a job would be 13. Okay. Oop, I went too fast. Can I do an apprenticeship through co-op, or is it a separate thing? Yeah, so co-op is where you get to just try any job out. And then the apprenticeship one is called OYAP, which is the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Is there a co-op for people that want to do RCMP? Yeah, absolutely. Talk to your guidance counselors. Yeah, we haven't. Okay. Okay, now we're building. All right, now we will build. If there are questions, keep putting them in the chat. We can come back at any time. So both kits start off the same. In them, you have these booklets. So you can, Sheree posted in the chat. So there's the innovation set, that's the red case. And then there's the truck set. There's a couple YouTube videos you can go and watch that will go through the build, but both kits also have kind of instruction manuals in them that you can follow. And I looked at these when I built my kits and I didn't have a trouble. So if you have the truck kit, there's actually 3 plans you can pick from in the book, plus like however many more of that math. So there would be 12 more online that you can go see. But I just chose to build, if you go in, there's like a motorcycle. I didn't have a problem with that one. So if you're looking at this kit and you're feeling overwhelmed, I would say if you have the truck kit, build in the booklet, it starts at page 23, the motorcycle. And if you have the inventor kit, it only comes with one instruction, and that's for this catapult, which I was building, and again, didn't have a problem with it. So don't feel overwhelmed if that's how you do. And both booklets on the very first page tell you how to use these kits. So you have tools. These aren't put together like Lego snaps together, right? These are put together with actual little screws and like washers and nuts, which again, I thought was the coolest thing. But this first page on all of the kits, you can start building now, build throughout the rest of the weekend if you want. Like this is at your own pace. We might not finish it today. Don't panic. Like there's 20 minutes. It actually took me some hours to build this motorcycle, so don't worry about that. But don't be overwhelmed with these. The first page tells you how to use the kit. So you have 2 tools. There's this little wrench looking thing and an Allen key, they call this. It's kind of like a screwdriver, I guess, but different. They show you that this screwdriver has 3 parts that you can use. There's the actual, not screwdriver, the wrench. Sorry, there's the wrench part. And then there's actually 2 more pieces down here to hold on to things if you need. There's like one there and one there. It's, again, it says it in the booklet. Allen keys, pretty easy to use. You can use it this way or this way, however you want. And then the only other thing they tell you to be careful of is when you're using the washers right there, this part here, don't tighten them all the way down so that it pinches it. Leave it a little bit of space so that the arms can move. And then from there on, this is like a step-by-step instruction manual. It's really nice and easy. You would find the thing that you are building. So if you're building the catapult, it's the one booklet. You go to step 1 and you do pretty much what it says. So box, it'll tell you the pieces that you need here on the side. What's great too is I was overwhelmed. I opened up a million tiny little screws, and then I realized that there's actually a size chart here. So whenever it's telling you to use a piece, you can actually find a piece and hold it right up to what it's showing you underneath, and it should be actual size. So if it's not actual size, it's not the right piece. You can kind of keep putting things until it fits. If we don't want to build, what do we do? Oh my God, Connor, you don't want to build with us?
This is so sad, Connor.
With me, yeah. So if you don't want to build, I mean, I say just try it or build whatever you want, play with the pieces. You don't have to follow these instructions. It's just if you want to. And I understand it is kind of maybe getting late. So if you don't want to start this right now, you definitely don't have to. Like if you're looking at all these little pieces and going like, no, I'm going to bed in 20 minutes, I understand. So that's kind of the tips and tricks that I have for this book. The other thing is these plastic pieces, you'll see in the instructions are directional. So on one side of the plastic piece, there's a little M, and then the other side, there isn't. So if you're looking at an instruction, like for this catapult, in step 3, you'll see the M is actually facing up, but then step 5, the piece that they're putting on, you can't see the M. So it is directional. If you're getting stuck, you're not sure which way to put something, look to see, like, can you see the M or the word Meccano? If you can't, that means it's on the other side. You're gonna play around with it. Awesome, thanks, Connor. Like I said, I opened these kits and I was really overwhelmed at first, but then the second I got to like step 3, I understood it. So definitely don't be afraid to try. And these pieces come off. So if you put the piece on the wrong way and you get halfway down, you can backtrack. Like that is not a problem. But
I've personally been spending 10 to 15 minutes just trying to put the wheels on. So don't feel bad if it's not working out 100% for you.
It's like putting together IKEA furniture. Absolutely.
Seriously, it's like IKEA. That tip of holding up the screws to having that perfect size on the page was super helpful because I've gone through now 3 different screw sizes. Probably shouldn't pick me to put IKEA furniture together, but you know, I don't give up, so that's important.
Yeah. so I built like I said, I built the motorcycle a couple days ago. It took me like hours. So don't worry, it could take some time. Loved it, not a problem with that one. And then I started building the catapult. So yeah, don't yeah, mess on a desk. Yeah, like the people that have the red kit, it's really easy because it holds all of the pieces. But if you have the truck set, I recommend you get like Ziploc baggies or bowls that you can put your pieces in, because yeah, they do go all over the place. And you're excited to start? Cool. What else can I say? Like, you can obviously start building now. We don't have too much time left together, but if you have questions, let me know. But like, why are we doing this hands-on activity? It's not complicated. I promise you, it is not complicated. Just follow step by step. It literally tells you the pieces. And if there's ever like a screw or a washer, there's actually the size thing you hold it up to, and it'll fit perfect. If it doesn't, it's the wrong piece. So yeah, it's not complicated, and they all come apart. So take it apart and fix it, or build whatever you want. Like, it's flexible. But we do this kind of, or we like to do hands-on activities because it's really what the trades are. Like I mentioned at the start, if you're not there, your job doesn't get done. So if you're not there to build the motorcycle or the catapult, it doesn't get done.
Guys, look, I got both the wheels. Woo! All right.
Yeah.
I am doing the innovation set, in case anyone's wondering. That's what I've got.
I've actually built, so blueprints, like I said, like these are kind of like blueprints. As a welder, you get a different type of set of blueprints, but there was a very short time I worked in assembly where we would put together parts of a skip, which is like an elevator that goes down into the mines and brings ore back up to the top, to the surface. And I kid you not, building these kits, it's literally like building a skip. Like, you get a big instruction manual and you have to go and find the screws based on, you know, what the number is on the blueprint. Like, this is, I'm not kidding, this was like building things in a factory. So it's really fun, I thought, and cool, because I haven't been welding obviously in a while. So it was good to bring back that fond memory. And then, yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say. Feel free to work on it as you go. Yeah. And
Is there anybody who is building it right now? Throw in the chat. Are you secretly building this? Yes. Oh my goodness, so many of you. Anybody want to like come on camera and show us?
We can totally do that, Sheree. So we
Yeah.
can invite, we can basically tag team and make the students a panelist, and then they can weigh in. And if you don't want to have your video or audio on Students Youth, you do not need to. You can actually decline the invitation and you can keep it off. But if you want to show off your work, if you want to put on your video for a bit, you can do that. So let's promote you to panelist. It'll kick you out just for a second, but then you'll come back in as a panelist. Sheree, I'll start at the bottom, you start at the top.
Okay, sounds good.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Hi.
So excited, you guys. I stopped at Grayson.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't have to feel alone. Does anybody have more than just wheels to show?
Of that kit, this is all I have.
Works well. Look at that arm test. Nice.
I stuck my wheels together with this bolt thing.
Okay.
Just so that they stay together.
Cool. Can I see it? Oh, neat. Oh, double wheel. Are you doing a motorcycle then?
No, I'm just doing the second one. I just did that to keep them together.
Oh, nice.
Got that.
Anybody else interested in showing us what your ideas are? I'm keeping the bar really low. I just have wheels.
Okay.
And if you guys have made something, it would be really cool if you took a picture of it and then sent that picture to your YSO so that we can kind of collect what you guys are making with your mechanic kits this weekend.
I kind of started early, and I started making an ATV,
Oh, cool.
and I've
That's the one
done
I'm going
so
for.
far.
Oh,
job.
that's so sweet. Nice, Caden.
Thanks.
Yeah, can you take a picture of that and send it to your YSO?
Like on my phone.
Yeah, like on your phone.
Okay.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, we would love to show off your guys' hard work that you do this week if you're okay with that. Same with like your moccasins, anything that you make, your bookmarks, anything you make, we would love to see it and show your hard work off.
I can make that bookmark within 10 minutes.
10 minutes with your eyes
Yeah.
closed?
Not with my eyes closed.
just teasing.
Actually, I probably could. I don't know.
I'm gonna challenge yourself a little bit. Maybe try doing it with just your toes.
It's good having this.
Oh, nice.
Oh, plus it's a multi-tool as well. So it's got a bunch of other things too, which help. That's done.
So we have technically 9 minutes left together, but is there any other questions maybe about trades or anything?
Quentin Sheree was just asking, what is a YSO? Maybe that's one that you can answer.
Ooh, YSO is like a position of somebody in NEPAM who helps connect. Actually, wait, that's the YN I'm thinking of. I am kind of blanking right now. Where's Kathy? Kathy's in here.
I just invited her to be a panelist. Zion is saying youth service officer, which I believe is correct.
Yeah, I personally am someone who has recently been hired to work at NEPAM, and I believe the youth service officers help our students find placements. I know they do that in my program, so they help students find jobs that they can work at that are interesting to them and that use the skill sets that they have. So that's kind of like the main thing that I know that youth service officers do.
Hi, Jackie.
Don't know if Kathy wants to add on to that or not.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Opportunity Knocks. Woo, woo. Night one. We have a few more minutes left before we chime out, but what great participation is happening here. It says I'm muted, but hang on, am I muted?
No, we
No.
can hear you, Kathy.
Okay. So, what is a YSO? A YSO is a youth service officer. Who did you sign up with? That is a YSO. A YSO, oh my gosh, they are amazing. They come into your community, come into your school, come into your lives to help you move forward with your careers, with your schooling. Have you heard of SISI? Stay in School Initiative? OMG, people, Stay in School Initiative, that's huge. The YSOs, you stay in school because there is percentages, in other words, there is funding or money coming your way every so many months. I can't remember offhand. Johnny got it right there. I said the magic word, money, Johnny. And that helps you get to.
I'm actually doing it.
Right, Brittany? That
I already
helps to
got
build you
$80
up
from it.
and move you forward. So definitely check in with your YSO, move those buttons of your computer and chime in with them, because you want to get on that sissy, and you also want to share your photos, because your photos that you're sharing throughout the conference, we put them on the website, we put them on our final report. If you want to take some pictures of what you got in your swag bags, I had never seen one. I saw the bags and I saw how big and bulky they were, but I never saw all the contents. And I hear it's pretty amazing. Okay, so please, 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 keep going what you're doing. You're doing great. We have 42 people on here right now, and it's like way past my bedtime, but that's besides the point. But we have 42 people on here, and this morning or earlier for our opening, we had 90 plus. So congratulations to you all for being a first evening, and some of you being first timers for NEPAM. Way to go. So proud of each of you. Now, you know what a YSO is? That's your youth service officer in your area that you registered with to come into this conference. So with that being said, please, please, please call them, email them, get into Sissy. You really want that, because that'll help you along your way. And if you're needing any transportation, if you want to work towards your driver's ed, OMG, call them. They can help you. Okay? If you know you want to go to school in the fall, call them. They can do so much. Okay? Thanks, everybody. I'll leave it up to you, Jill.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Kathy. I love the vibrant energy. I know it is 5 to 10 p.m. at night. Some of our youth may be night owls, and some others might be like, oh goodness, like my iWatch is saying, giving me my bedtime reminder. So funny. We've had such an amazing day. I am very, very thankful for the NEPAM team, the panelists. Oh yeah, Brittany, you are so awesome. You have an awesome personality there. Like you just were sucking me right into the computer because you have such a cool hip personality. And that's exactly what our youth needs. Same for Sheree, same for Larissa. And Kathy just blew it out of the park as well. So as you can see, NEPAM is a true, their team is really dedicated to youth, to empowering youth, to supporting youth and lifting youth up. And all day we have been, today youth, we had kind of just jumped right into everything. We had a wonderful opening from our elders. And of course, we tried to keep everything in a timely manner and be respectful of everyone's time. But when elders are speaking, how can we even chime in and jump? How could we interrupt such beautiful words, right? That are grounding us and giving thanks. And I think that was a key component today, to be able to gather our minds together as one, give thanks to all aspects of life that continue to keep us here with one another, still being connected, right? So I tried to give as much information as I could while we were working on our moccasins. It was very, very informative session just now. So I imagine everyone is still processing, and again, we encourage you to continue working on your moccasins if you would like, continue to build your mechano kits and have fun with it. Like Brittany had said, there's instructions, but we also have been being informed about passion and, doing what feels right to you and exploring different ideas and the way things work. Maybe you want to follow the directions to a right tee, or maybe you're like Johnny and, you're like, I'm going to put this between my wheels just to keep them from kind of going all over. And I really, really like, I'm just loving all of the direction all of the youth are going in. You guys are truly actually inspiring to us. You're teaching us that there's great minds, going in every which direction. And that's the exact knowledge and mindset that we're going to need into the future. And that's the exact reason we gather for an event like this with youth from across different catchment areas. So again, just a reminder before we all leave, I know I was encouraging, pushing for everybody to just become experts at the webpage. Tomorrow is Friday. We had a successful Thursday, right? A really, really awesome kickoff to our event. I'm excited for the next 2 days. It's been really, really fun today. So definitely fiddle around with the website, go through all of the experience, because like I said, there are prizes to be won. There's an iPad, there's 2 helicopter passes, there's $50 cards. There's a lot more even to that. So it really, truly is key to be able to go in and explore, you know, explore the whole, there's just so much. There's videos, pre-event experience videos that my family actually had the opportunity to work with Edge Factor and film some of our awesome dance videos. Again, we didn't get to show one today at break, but please, by all means, go on there. If you need some time to debrief after your day, it was very, very informative. So it'd be really nice just to click one of those dance videos on, relax your mind, relax your body, and get powered, right? Get powered up for tomorrow. One thing that we weren't able to share today that I want to end the night with, the NEPAM committee had also made a special request to do a jingle. So actually I was able to work with Sheree on making this jingle happen, and of course the support from the NEPAM team. We actually had a lot of fun making this jingle, and I really hope that, you know, I hope that you guys enjoy it, because it's definitely catchy. Once you hear it, you're going to be singing it all night, all day tomorrow, and all day Saturday, and even after Saturday. It might be the actual song for NEPAM, you never know. So again, going along with the theme today, fanning the fire within, there's different aspects we can look through that fanning the fire within. We can look through it through a mental lens, a physical lens, an emotional lens, and especially a spiritual lens, being Indigenous, urban Indigenous youth. So that fire within is actually speaking to our hearts, right? Our passion for not only who we are as Indigenous youth, but also who we are as beings, right? I like the saying, there was a saying I was gifted a while ago, and it said, we are, you know, a lot of people say we're human beings, but we're actually humans being. So again, that speaks for passion, right? Passion in different areas that you can go. So to end the night tonight, everybody, I will play our jingle that we have made, and I will play it again tomorrow and another day after that. So I hope you truly enjoy. Here we go. All right, great, awesome. Thank you all so much for an enjoyable, wonderful day. It has been really fun. Again, Brittany, you were really fun. Our whole team, the youth, you're the reason that this is possible. You're the reason this fire continues going on. And we will see you all tomorrow evening. Enjoy your night and enjoy your day tomorrow. Onagiwahe, Bamapi. Bye for now. Thanks.
If I have a question, if we want to stay on to show progress with each other, can we?
Great question, Johnny. I will give it over to Sheree.
Great job, ladies.
That actually goes over to Larissa.
Yeah.
It's time to go to bed, Johnny. I appreciate your project. It's so awesome, but we've got another day tomorrow and all day Saturday. So we want all of our youth to have a good sleep tonight, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Awesome.
you,
You can
Johnny.
take those
Thank
pictures. Take those
enthusiasm,
pictures of what you
Johnny.
do and send them to your YSL.
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Cool,
Okay.
cool. Good night,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.